Chefs of the future, COF Nation, COF Nation. I'm back. I'm here with my man LJ for the first time this summer. Show vet. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Listen, I appreciate you stopping past.
No
You here
problem.
straight out the kitchen. It's 12:30 or something like that, and we here recording this. It takes true commitment to
No
stop
problem, man.
past and
I love
do
being
that.
here. I love the show. So much fun, seriously.
But look, you've been here from day one. What
Oh yeah,
more is to say? He was here when it was just two mics sitting around the table,
on Anchor.
right?
Yeah.
just here, chatting it up about
Uh huh.
some nonsense that we felt interested in talking about.
Oh yeah.
So thanks again, man.
No problem.
So today, right, we have a couple things that I want to touch on. But first, I just want to catch everyone up on your end, like
Mhm.
what's new in the world of LJ and everything going on when it
Uh.
comes to like just the job, the profession. You got a new title since the last time you
Oh
was on the
yeah.
show.
I'm now the PM sous chef at the dock. I love it. A lot more responsibility than being a line cook, but the pay raise makes it worth it. Uh, it's definitely my. It's new to me. It's my first chef's position ever. Never had a chef's position, but I've adapted to it. I think well. I mean, what would you say? You work with me?
Um, I'm glad you touched on it because I
Yeah.
do want to get your mindset from going from like an irregular line worker, like associate, to
Mhm.
stepping more into like a
Mhm.
leader role, where you have people looking up to you and looking for guidance through service to help like problem solve things
Mhm.
that may come up. So, what do you think was like your biggest hurdle making that transition?
My biggest hurdle, and it definitely was like a real big problem at first, and I still have an issue with it, but I'm getting a lot better. Is having to be the boss, reprimand people. Always struggled with that because I'm a really nice person. I've always been bad with like giving instructions and stuff. I always like to do it myself. And that on top of that, I'm one of the youngest in the kitchen, so I'm bossing around a lot of new people, people older than me. And it makes it really hard when they're older than me because having to take orders from someone who's almost twice as young as you sometimes could be kind of demoralizing almost, I guess I'd say.
So, what's like a trick that you learned to like approach in those situations?
I gotta tell myself like it's my job. I'm the sous chef. Like what has to be done has to be done. Because if I don't do it, then I'm gonna get in trouble. So it's just like you gotta do it. You gotta adapt, or you're gonna fail basically.
So, what would be like a word of advice you could give to somebody who's stepping into that like similar position,
Mhm.
being younger, and having to, guide older people through service and through a kitchen?
Well, I guess like I said, what helped me the most was just like you gotta look at it from just a professionalism perspective. If you don't do it, then you could risk your job because other people aren't getting their stuff done, and you're the one that's supposed to make sure that they get their stuff done. So basically, just keep that mindset. Like you're not here to make friends. Obviously it's great to be friends with everybody, but if they give you a hard time about being younger and being their boss, then that's their issue, and they can take that up with the higher up if there is a higher up. Just got to do what you got to do.
You make a great point, man,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I feel like people could definitely like take something away from that.
Mhm.
They could look like through you and see where they want to go in their career, and that's what we're here for. Chefs of the future. But all right. So look, today we're here to talk about something that we've talked on the show a lot about over the last
Yes.
year or so, and
Mhm.
we actually got into like some fun like kitchen topics
Oh
over the
yeah.
last couple episodes. But
Mhm.
you know, it's pressing news, and this is what we're here to talk about. So, vaccinations, vaccinations, and it turning from voluntary to mandatory. So, when it comes particularly to like the food service industry, so you have a lot of restaurant workers, hotel workers, um, both on the associate level and on the managerial level, being mandated to get vaccinated in order to
Mhm.
go back to work or to be considered for a promotion or what have you. So before I Like, I have a lot to say about this. So
Hmm.
before I get into my thing, I want to get your general impressions on it. Just like your broad strokes
Broad statement.
before we get like deep
Okay,
into it.
so my, I guess, opinion on it, broad opinion. Uh, I personally think that the vaccination should be a choice. It shouldn't be mandatory. I feel like people should have the right to do what they want to do with their body and put in their body what they want to. Uh, do I think that they're bad? I don't know. I don't really want to think they're bad at all, but we got to think about it like it's new. They rushed it. You don't know what's in it. Uh, yeah, I think that if other people want to get it, totally get it. If they feel safe getting it, if they think that it's gonna better the uh, better the world if they get it, like just keep everybody safe, then by all means get it. But I think that it should be a choice, not mandatory.
All right. So vaccinations. So it's a personal topic now because
Hmm.
now it's hitting home.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in similar situation where I'm being forced upon to get
Hmm.
vaccinated in order to continue working, and it really forced me to have some like deep contemplation, like
Hmm.
with staying at the place where I'm at currently. Even it's like, all right, this is being forced, mandated. This is not something that's up for questioning anymore. Like the talking and the debating about it is over. That day
Hmm.
is past. Now they want results. Like you have to get vaccinated, fully vaccinated by a certain point in order to continue working. But I also said on the show, and like people will tell you that I'm a strong believer in fulfilling your commitment to situations.
Hmm.
So when you're a part of society, willingly, like living in a community that has X amount of people, whether it be in, a rural area in Pennsylvania or a bustling metropolis, urban setting of like Manhattan,
Hmm.
you're making a conscious, willing decision to live amongst people. Therefore, you have to act a certain way. You have to act accordingly. Because there's no one forcing you to live amongst people. So in doing that, there's certain things that has to be put in place to keep people safe. Um, of course, we're still in like the tail end of a pandemic, so we're to keep the public safe as a whole, have to get vaccinated. So there's that part of me, and I've said that before on the show as a way to like I guess make myself feel better, like
Hmm.
as long with the people listening as well. But my thing was, it wasn't me being forced in that position.
Hmm.
Now that is me, I have like a dog in this fight.
Hmm.
Now it changes the game. But I will say that it doesn't change how I feel like on a deeper level. I'm gonna still get the vaccination.
Hmm.
Because even if it wasn't for the job, just to eat out at restaurants, just to go to the gym, just to go to the library, any indoor facility in a lot of major cities, you know, well, mostly liberal cities, but that's neither here or there for a
Hmm.
different show completely. But um, how do you feel about that? Like, so if you want to go, pack up your family, go out to eat on your day off, you have to have proof of vaccination. Now this is outside of the job.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
let's say, okay, you lived in a reality in which you packed it up, you left your job because you didn't
Hmm.
want to get vaccinated. Cool. Now you're sitting at home, you don't have a job, and you're trying to capitalize on the last couple of days of summer. So you go out to the pool. You go to the pool with your family, and then you can't go in because you don't got your vaccination card.
Hmm.
They're creating a world in which you become more and more limited with what you can do with not being vaccinated.
Well, honestly, I'd be pretty pissed because it's a public place, and yet, yes, I get that. the vaccination could help or should help stop the spread of COVID. Uh, but on the other hand, if you're healthy and you have a good immune system and you're young, or even if you're like in your 40s and you're healthy, I feel like you should be fine without the vaccination. There was like the specific, not too specific, but there was all the different, what are they, I don't know what the word is. But anyway, all the different things that could make your possibility of getting COVID a lot greater, like when you smoke, if you have any of the pre-existing conditions like asthma or something
Yeah.
like that. Obviously, I think get the vaccination. But if you don't have any of that and you're healthy and you got a good immune system, I think you should be fine, completely fine without it. And the fact that they're going to make it mandatory for you to get the vaccine to enter a place like the pool or a restaurant, I think that's wrong. I think that I'm not sure if I've heard a couple people say that it's unconstitutional, but I don't want to say that it isn't because I don't know. I haven't read the Constitution, if I'm being honest. Or if I did in school, I don't remember.
So I want to get your take on that situation of like it being mandated to go into a restaurant or to a hotel or to even book a room at a hotel.
Hmm.
One, from a professional standpoint, being like you work at that hotel or you
Okay.
work at that restaurant.
Okay.
And then second, being that paying customer at that hotel. But
Mhm.
first, as an employee, being like, oh, do you feel safer? Do you have a level of appreciation? It being mandated from like a corporate level, or
Mhm.
what's your personal standpoint from a professional standpoint first?
All right. So if I worked at the place that mandated everybody that comes in and that works there to get a vaccination, obviously it would make me feel a little bit more safe because the vaccine, I guess they say it works. I don't have it, so I wouldn't know. I don't think I've gotten COVID. Uh, do I? Would I be like appreciative of it? I don't think that it would really bug me much if they had the people coming in required to get it. But if they required me to get it, it would bug me a lot. And if I was the person going in paying money, since I'm in that situation now, then yes, obviously I would get pretty mad at the fact that they wouldn't let me in. But there's really nothing you can do about it at that point. Uh, and like I said, a mandate really, I'm pretty sure, mandate isn't a law, right? Do you know?
Well,
I don't know. It's like a fine line in between a mandate and a law, and I don't know for sure if there's a huge difference in it.
So a mandate, it's being enforced
Hmm.
on like a legal level.
Okay.
So there are like legal ramifications to not following the mandate. Like you could be, removed from the premise of wherever you're
Hmm.
at, from law enforcement, or it may
Hmm.
be like severe civil fines or
Hmm.
something of that order. And if you have like multiple um, violations, it could get trumped, into
Hmm.
a bigger charge. It's so it's not hard for it to become like a lot of like misdemeanors turn into an actual like long legal record.
Hmm.
And who wants a legal record trying to go to a 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
Like you trying to take a stance at a Turkey Hill
Hmm.
where you
Hmm.
know trying to not show your vaccination card.
Hmm.
You know, I know people that's gotten vaccinated, right? But just didn't want to show their vaccination card because they felt like you shouldn't legally be able to ask me for my
Hmm.
vaccination card. That's like asking a woman if they're pregnant.
Or for their even for their ID, like just like let's say a worker, like not a security guard, not the owner, just like a front counter worker somewhere asks you to see your ID for no reason, or they give you some like bogus reason. You're not gonna want to show them that, right?
Well,
It's none of their business.
well, how do you feel about a woman being asked if they're pregnant at the job interview?
Uh, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I've never really thought about that, if I'm being honest. Give me a second. I'd have to say, I mean, I can understand why the employer would want to know if the woman is pregnant. Do I think that it is disrespectful? Yes. Do I think that it is wrong? I guess yes and no, because like I said, if the woman is pregnant and she's just getting hired and she doesn't tell them, and then all of a sudden 3 months later she's got to get paid leave because she's pregnant. I forget what the term is.
Yeah,
that they
maternal
get.
leave.
Maternal leave. That's
Yeah.
what it is. That she kind of just like almost took advantage of the company there. And even if she wasn't trying to take advantage of the company, that wasn't her. Uh, that wasn't what she wanted to do. Still, what it is. It's like, I guess, wrong.
Well, okay, so let's say she goes and gets pregnant that night. Like she goes, I got the job, and then she links up and gets pregnant that night,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now 3 months later, she's showing, and 5, 6 months after that,
Well,
she's
then-
now on maternity
Well,
leave.
then that changes everything. Then that's not her fault if she got pregnant that night, right?
Mm.
I don't think that'd be her fault, or she would have
But
any obligation.
it's not the situation. It's the president of asking the question that's up that we're trying to debate the
Oh,
morality
okay,
of.
okay.
So do you? I feel like there's two answers to that too.
Yeah,
Like you have
yeah.
like the personal answer, then you have like the professional answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have the personal way you may feel about it,
Mm-hmm.
then you have like the professional stance. And I feel like they both align in this situation. Personally, the employer shouldn't care. Professionally, the employer shouldn't care. You know, I feel like that applies to vaccinations as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a larger public safety aspect that comes with dealing with a contagious disease.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being pregnant is not a contagious
Yeah,
disease.
yeah.
You know, but the reason why I make the comparison is to say that neither should be blurred. The lines should blur when it comes to like keeping someone's job or not.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like you're messing with somebody's livelihood, like potentially,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you have somebody who's been building tenure at a place and now they're up for retirement, right? They're months from it or a year and a half from it,
Mm-hmm.
and they presented with this ultimatum like get vaccinated or lose your tenure and lose your job. And what do you tell to that person? Do you not give them their benefits after all of this time? You know, after they've been that cashier or that waiter or that waitress or that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kitchen, that hotel restaurant manager for the last 45 years?
I don't know. That's a tough question, if I'm being honest. See, like, there's two answers to all these questions. I mean, from the perspective of being the worker, I think that they should still get their benefits. But obviously, the employer has the reasons to not want to give them their benefits anymore. It depends on which side you're on. Like, there's really no taking a middle ground in that. It's either one or the other. I don't really see how you can make a middle agreeable thing.
So, like, true watchers of the show, right,
Mhm.
that's watched from the beginning, would know that my stance when it comes to legislation for, like, getting a hold on the pandemic was a clear-cut, decisive decision-making. You
Mhm.
can't half-ass it. You can't be like, well, you know, we're going to make it voluntary to wear masks in our restaurants. You know, if you're going to try to get a hold on it, it has to be clear-cut and decisive, mandated, right? Fast forward, and now we're in a mandated state for being vaccinated,
Vaccinated.
right? This is exactly what I was saying need to happen in order to see a change.
Mhm.
Now, if everyone was to get vaccinated, right, sooner rather than later, this would be behind us sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
And we could get back to some sense of a new normal when it comes to booking hotels and going out to restaurants and concerts and
Mhm.
uh, restaurants to be able to revenerate or reopen for the first
Mhm.
time in 2 years. You believe that we're like a year and a
Yeah.
half, 2 years into this?
It's insane to think about it. Like this pandemic made time fly so fast, and there's still more to come. It's probably gonna fly by fast even more. I bet you 2022 in the beginning is gonna fly by like crazy, and then summer's gonna be here again already. It's gonna be insane, and I'm gonna see you again. You're
Yeah,
gonna be like, "Yo, what's up?"
we're gonna be here one again at the Chefs of the Future. But I feel like now that like we're in the moment of decision,
Mhm.
you are forced to look at things differently. And I feel like ultimately, unless you're a shut in or you move to like a part of Wyoming that your only neighbors is coyotes, you really are going to be in a situation where a vaccination
Mhm.
is the right move. You know, it's inevitable. That's just the direction society is heading
And
in.
well, I gotta say, I think that's I gotta kind of sort of disagree with that. Uh, I think that when you're in, I don't think you'll ever be in a situation where the vaccine. Well, I guess it's a matter of opinion. Some people might not think that being in that situation, the vaccine would better them, because some people like me, like I don't know what's in the vaccine. It was rushed. We're basically uh, lab rats, test
Well,
monkeys.
let's not get it misconfused. Like
Hmm.
even if they took 2 3 years to come out with the vaccine, we still wouldn't know what's in it. You know,
Yeah, but
we're not
them
scientists.
taking their time in the 2 3 years, I know I'd feel a lot better being that they took their time with it. But they really were rushing to get this vaccine out, and now we're all the test dummies, and we don't know what it's going to do. And like, it could not do anything. It obvious, and I hope it doesn't do anything. I don't want anything to happen to anybody. But like 20 years from now, 30 years from now, people that got the vaccine, we don't know what's going to happen or if it's going to do anything to them or if it's going to change something about them. And that, I guess, is my biggest reason of not getting the vaccine is that when I'm 20 years older, is that going to do anything to me or affect my livelihood in any way?
I get it. It's less of a decision. It's less of a worry when you're older
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, all right. I guess you could say that your peak has left you, but when you're still like
Mm-hmm.
have a lot more peaking to do,
Yeah.
you're forced to think about the next 20 and 30
Uh-huh.
years. I get that. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
100%. 100%. But for how it relates to this show and how it fits into like the food industry, right? Um, personally, I feel like I'm turning that corner
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to just like being like acceptive of the idea of being vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
From a professional standpoint, I've been on board with it from the time the vaccinations was
Mm-hmm.
available. From the first rounds of vaccinations, professionally, I was completely on board from it because I understood that meant that light at the end of the tunnel. That
Mm-hmm.
was the end of all of this, right? And that was the new beginning for all the restaurants that cannot open up right now,
Mm-hmm.
for all the delivery companies and the food workers that's out or been unemployed since the beginning of the pandemic. All of them people that don't have a job to go back to
Mm-hmm.
that worked in the food industry or the restaurant industry. I mean the hotel industry. You know, anything. Um, but I don't know. The question is for y'all. What's your whole take on all of this? Now that we're in the time where the decisions have to be made right now, right now, right now, how do you feel? Do you feel more like me, where it's like, all right, I understand that this is the direction we're heading, and so we should just embrace it and get vaccinated, no, Or do you feel more like LJ that's like, look, I understand there's like mandates coming around the corner, but there's still ways to circumvent getting vaccinated and
Hmm.
still being healthy. And
I do gotta say that if they make it mandatory for all concert venues to have vaccination, that would be one of the few things that would be able to get me to get a vaccination, because I love music is a huge part of my life, and not being able to go see concerts just because I don't get vaccinated would be stupid of me, and I think that would help me overlook the fact that I don't really trust it, I guess, and I would just go ahead and get it. This way I can go see live shows. But if there's a way around that, for by all means, I don't think I'm gonna get the vaccine.
now, like eating out is a big part of my life.
Hmm.
In the city, I probably go out at like a restaurant 3 times a month.
Yeah.
For real, like
Hmm.
just maybe twice in 1 week, and I'll probably skip a week, but at least 3 times a month I
Hmm.
try to go out. So I love the dining experience. There's nothing like being um, in a hospitable environment
Hmm.
and having like that ultimate service. It's the best feeling in the world.
Hmm.
That's why when I'm behind the wall and I'm on the opposite end,
Hmm.
I try to give all that energy back because I understand like that feeling as a customer.
And that's what you get the appreciation from, is being a worker behind the line. You know what it's like, and then finally being able to be the one out front and being catered to kind of just feels great. It's like, okay, so this is why I do it.
Well, for
This
me,
is
it's
why we do
opposite.
it.
For me, it's
Yeah.
opposite. I get my motivation to be a good kitchen worker from the experience of being a customer.
Hmm.
Knowing how great it feels when you have like a great dining experience. Like, look, I walk into a spot and everything just tic tac, boom, boom,
Yeah.
pow.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like walking out the restaurant like this, and I'm like, yo, that was amazing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's the best feeling for me. Like,
Uh-huh.
I want to give all the customers that feeling, like replicate
Hmm.
that feeling. I peek out the window and the customers looked all glazed over, walking to their car. I'm like, yeah, yeah, like they had a good
Oh
time.
yeah.
Like I did my job.
Yep.
So that's where I get my motivation from.
Hmm.
The kitchen is from the customers and like being the customers. Um, that's another thing. Like, what's your favorite dining experience? Let us know. We would love to know it. We'd love to know that too as well.
Hmm.
And if you have any questions for LJ, because I know it's been a long ass time
Oh
since
yeah.
he's been here.
The last time I was here was a Zoom call.
Yeah,
Uh huh.
was a Zoom call. Um, definitely send us that way. We'll definitely squeeze out enough recordings to answer those, whatever we get in. Um, but look, speaking of being a musician, I've been trying to get you, man. Listen, look, yeah, you already know, cause look, I've been trying to get you on the segment. Y'all know the segment. If y'all been watching the show, Say It for the Food, where we have artists that come, rappers, people that play instruments, uh, uh, spoken word
Hmm.
people like that do poetry, just come and do what they do best, all in the name of just a good time.
Hmm.
Now, I've been trying to get you on that for a little while. The scheduling has been difficult, and
Very, very
yeah,
difficult.
and it's hard to get the setup, and it's a lot of things that have to like fall into place to get it working.
Hmm.
But we're gonna try to make that happen.
Definitely gonna try to make that happen. I'd
Try to
love
make that
do
happen
it.
for y'all. Like,
I'd love to do it. Definitely.
get this man a pair of drums. Get this man a pair of drums out there. But you gotta wait till the foothill up. I guess.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do band practice on Monday if it don't.
It's the leg, man. The leg.
Oh.
It's key. It's all legs. It's all
No,
legs.
it is.
It's all legs. Um, look, before we get out of here, I do want to talk about this
Okay.
because the hype is real.
Ooh.
Because the hype
Oh yeah.
is real. Listen, the documentary.
Oh yeah.
For those who don't know, the documentary it's a project that we've taken on while we've been out here working at the dock. It's a documentary about the dock called The Dock. documentary, and my man LJ is in it.
Oh yeah.
Um, we've been circling around some test footage
Hmm.
for the last couple of weeks. You've seen it,
I've seen a couple minutes, like 2-3 minutes.
and like just what's your first reactions
Dude,
to
I'm
it?
I'm so hyped. I think that from the 3 minutes, I could already tell he captured what it's like to work in the kitchen, like perfectly. All the shots, like the camera work is great. Like all the shots of the food are on point. Like seriously, uh, I'm very excited to see the rest of it. I'm in it and I haven't even seen it, so I've been asking you how long now? Almost
No,
like
yeah,
every
like
other
every
day.
like
Every
oh,
other day
yeah.
I come up to you. I'm like, yo, Rich, when's
What's
that
the status?
dropping?
Yeah, what's the status? What's the status? And look, the status is this special announcement. It's dropping next week.
Ooh,
We dropping next week. What's today? What's today's date? The 19th?
I think so.
19th? When's Monday? When's Monday?
Monday. Today is
Today
today's now Friday, I think, right?
today's Friday.
Today's Friday, so Monday's in 3 days.
So what? That's the 22nd,
I'm bad at math.
22nd, 23rd. One of those days. Look, the day I'm gonna post the date up somewhere in this video, but that's the day it's going live.
Get hype. Seriously, it's gonna be great.
Nah, look. If you only knew. Look, it's just shout out to the people that made this happen
Oh yeah.
and that allowed it to happen and take place. And it took a lot of people to come together. You know, a lot of dedication from many people, a lot of willingness
Hmm.
from many people to just sit down and talk to us, and just amongst like a busy ass summer. Like this summer was busy.
It's bad. One of the like more busy summers we've had in the past. I've been here for like almost going on 5 years, and it's definitely up there in like busiest summer, like top 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it's a different kind of busy. It's a busy when it comes to like demand, you know, just like the expectations for of everyone on this summer has been
Hmm.
it's been like new heights. But yeah, so look, the documentary without giving no spoilers, we haven't spoiled anything. Documentary, keep out for that. And look, LJ, thank you, man.
No problem, man. It was great being here.
Look, thank you for. I loved our conversations always.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get you one more time before
Definitely
we
one more
leave.
time. Definitely one more time.
Well, one more time before we
Oh,
dip.
yeah.
But thank you once again, man.
We'll have to do one more time after the documentary to get our reaction, or at least my reaction.
Ooh, should we do a
'Cause you made it.
reaction video? Like,
Maybe.
should we
Tell
do
us
a
in the
reaction?
comments.
Ooh, tell us in the comments a reaction video
Oh yeah.
to the documentary. Look, we might even do like a watch along. That shit would be dope too.
That would be dope.
That would be dope.
Yeah. I mean, you made it, but like everybody
No,
in the
yeah.
kitchen that hasn't seen it yet, like me, I've only seen the first 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
but then also, how many times does any person watch their video, right?
Mhm.
Like, I can only imagine that, like, people that made Endgame watched Endgame like a million times,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, and it's like what I don't like about watching it myself is that you always feel like you could change something or do
Mhm.
something different, or the mistake
It's never
that you
right.
let slide.
It's never right.
The mistake you let slide always seems so huge and
Mhm.
like in the moment, and when that moment happens, that's the only thing you could think of. Only
Throws
thing
you
could
off.
focus on.
Yeah.
I feel that same way about service.
Yeah.
But listen, we out of here. This is going way too long. Thank you, man.
No problem, man.